Bullet Club Day.
Well, I mean, shit. Every day is Bullet Club
Bullet
Day.
Club
This
Day.
is extra special because Tama told you last night on Twitter that, what'd he say? He said, we recruited a high caliber athlete.
High caliber.
Who is that? Tell him who's here.
I'll tell you who it is. One of the greatest, if not the best, of our generation, Kenta.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Tiger Driver Radio. For all things New Japan Pro Wrestling and the best of the indies, this is your main man JP alongside
Juicy J.
That was probably the best one since the second one.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. I'm proud of you.
Oh, yeah.
You know who else I'm proud of?
Who?
Kota Ibushi.
Oh, yeah.
Kota Ibushi. Ladies and gentlemen, Kota Ibushi is your 2019 G1 winner. G1 Climax 29. He is the winner of this year's tournament.
Oh, yeah. Be happy.
Exactly, man. I'm happy, man. And like I said, it's important, man. It's so fucking important to relish in these victories, man. Like I said, seeing him win made me feel like I won. Because like he's one of those wrestlers that I've been a fan of his for like the better part of a decade, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
Like I remember I saw him on YouTube on a Ring of Honor match against like the Briscoes. I think it was him and like who was it? Him and El Generico, I think, against the Briscoes. And just seeing him wrestle, it's like, whoa, holy shit. Like, who the fuck is this guy? And then on top of that, he was on an episode of Kaiju Big Battle back in the day. And then from there, I just learned that he was part of DDT Pro Wrestling.
His match with the doll?
With match with the doll, that happened a couple years back. Yeah. But I've been a fan of his for quite some time. And I always felt that he was like, in my mind, I'm like, Kota Ibushi has to be a world champion at something one day. I mean, I know he kicked ass a lot in DDT. He's done well in tournaments, but he was never given, I don't necessarily know if it was given is the right word, but he was never featured as like a prominent guy in a big promotion. Mm-hmm. Even in WWE, he only went so far in the Cruiserweight Classic before losing. And I think part of that was for the fact that he did not want to permanently sign with the WWE. So of course they're not going to.
He had a job.
He had a job, but no less, I always felt that Kota Ibushi was that guy. Like he has to be the guy. And although now he's like 36, 37?
Yeah.
Which that's not old, but for a lot of people's careers, that's either their prime.
But he looks like 21 or something.
Yeah, he looks so young. Yeah. But a lot of times, with people in their mid 30s, a lot of people nowadays, the mid 30s is their prime of their career. Mm-hmm. Or it's like the tail end. It's like their last couple of good years left.
Yeah. And
you don't necessarily know. Like I said, this entire tournament, he was battling an ankle injury. He's had neck surgery, and he wrestles at such a high octane, high tempo pace. So it was just like, I was a little worried for him. But no less, super happy that he won this tournament. And I got to say, it made me so happy to see him win this tournament on the simple fact that for years, I don't think a lot of people saw him as the guy. And now he's going forward, and he's going to not only headline the Tokyo Dome. In the post G1 Climax tournament press conference that they had this week, he even suggested, well, why doesn't the IWGP Intercontinental and IWGP Heavyweight Belt headline both nights? And I want to challenge for both.
Man,
wow. Talk about lofty goals. I know it was Tetsuya Naito's ambition
he wants everything,
to unite both the Intercontinental and, IWGP Heavyweight title. If Ibushi has anything to say about it, Ibushi might be the first one to do it. Who knows?
Hopefully somebody can.
That'd
be cool.
I'm excited. And the great and the beautiful thing about this whole tournament is that now that we have a clear-cut winner, you're going to start seeing the shape of Wrestle Kingdom next year taking shape. We now know Kota Ibushi is going to be in the main event of next year's Wrestle Kingdom. How they organize that, we don't know. He still has to defend his briefcase, just like every G1 Climax winner in recent history has always had to defend their opportunity at the main event. But the fact is, in this tournament, he had a rough start. And in fact, he had a rough start so much so that I didn't think he was going to be a factor this year. I was like, okay, he's going to be spoiler. And we even called it early on. I was like, okay, he'll be spoiler, but he's not. He'll have an impressive showing later, but he's not going to make it. And then boom, he was able to go tie with Kazuchika Okada with the tiebreaker. And I believe the tiebreaker is because of the fact that he beat Sonata, where Okada did not do that.
Yeah.
which Okada did in fact finally. And that's another thing too that was also a highlight of this tournament is the fact that Sonata, after this is his 7th try against Okada, finally beat him. And I think that's safe to say that he has a future IWGP heavyweight title shot in the near future. Because another thing too is that even though Okada did go as far as to go to the top of the A block, and was, did of course lose to Kota Ibushi, the fact is that he still needs to defend his title between now and Wrestle Kingdom. Who's to say that he might not lose it? We don't know that. I don't know. Like, the one thing I have to say that I admired so much about this G1 is that it was unpredictable in a lot of ways. And also there was a lot of wild cards, like, wow, holy shit, like that happened. Like, Yano is always a spoiler. We always know that he's going to spoil somebody's ambitions. I didn't think that you'd see Jay White go from losing 3 up front to be on the verge of elimination, especially if anybody else was on their winning ways, for him to go all the way to the finals. And granted, he had an amazing match with Ibushi. That main event was amazing. He came up short, of course, Gato tried to get involved as he always does. But the fact is that you have to compliment Jay White in this tournament. Talk about if New Japan didn't allow him to win the G1 this year, you could tell that they have a lot of vested faith in his ability as a heel performer. Because compared to when he came back last year, I think he's grown so much.
Yeah, he went up fast. The way he's coming up to the main event of the card, it was quick. People don't like him for it, but
I think a lot of people even said like he didn't deserve it. And I'll be honest, at first, I didn't either. I wasn't completely sold. I saw potential.
Yeah,
but I wasn't sold on it. And this year, I think especially with the way that he wrestles, he is such a calculating and defensive wrestler and such a good trash talker and a guy that knows how to basically use his opponent's weapons against them or take them away. Like I said, in my opinion, I know a lot of people will probably disagree with me. I feel like Jay White wrestles as if he's been doing this for 20 years.
He's a true cerebral assassin.
Exactly. Like, that's the one thing that people always complimented Triple H on, is that Triple H in his prime was very calculating, liked to play mind games, definitely knew how to break you down. I feel like Jay White is the same way. Not only does he know how to break you down, he knows how to basically get under your skin. He in a lot of ways, he reminds me of a cross between Kurt Henning's technical ability with Jake Roberts' psychology. Yeah. People are going to think I'm like, oh, that's fucking bold. But I genuinely think Jay White is that good and is only going to get better. And he has gotten better in the past year.
Because selling is amazing.
Selling is amazing. Not to mention, if you rewind last year when they had, of course, when he had his match against Hangman Adam Page at the Cow Palace, or no, excuse me, not at the Cow Palace, but in San Francisco last year. That was a horrible fucking match that he had with Hangman Adam Page. I was like, this is fucking terrible. Now, even his match against Juice Robinson for the U.S. title last year, that was at the Cow Palace. Even that match was less than stellar in my opinion. And I feel like since then, he has grown as well.
Yeah.
Same thing with Juice Robinson. Juice Robinson, I feel like since his initial loss against John Moxley, has become more aggressive. Dare I say a little darker, a little bit.
Yeah, it's a good version of Juice. I like it.
I like his better. I don't really like so much the happy, goofy side. I mean, I know he's always going to wear bright colors. He's flamboyant. I mean, that's his namesake. Yeah. But the fact is, I like to see this more serious Juice Robinson, and I think that carried him well in the G1. Fortunately, he did not make it to the final or the top of the block, but he performed a hell of a lot better this year than last year, for sure. And then the other thing that I felt was thing that I was like super just good God, was Taichi. That final match to close out this year's G1 against Tomohiro Ishii.
Oh yeah, I was like, what the heck? Why didn't you do this a whole tournament, man?
Where the fuck was this guy at? Like, Taichi performed well in the tournament. Don't get me wrong. He had some decent matches, some good matches, but he was a fucking beast in that match. Like, when do you ever see anybody destroy Tomohiro Ishii like that? I mean, you see a lot of people have matches against Ishii where it's a battle of attrition. It's like a back and forth. Like, anybody who wrestles Tomohiro Ishii knows that they are in for a fight. You're gonna get your ass kicked. If you're gonna have a chance, you got to kick his ass too, because he can take it. But this match, that final, the last match to close his tournament, I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, immediately steps in with a pumping bomber and just beats the shit out of Ishii. And thing is, when do you see Ishii that vulnerable? Never. And And then, like, whoa, Taichi, where the fuck is it? This is who I want to see. Like, this is the guy I want to see.
I mean, it was reminiscent of the New Japan Cup when he had the match with Ishii as well. But yeah, man, I mean, why didn't he do this before? Yeah, man, I was a little upset when I saw that. I mean, I was happy it was a great match, but it was upsetting that, man, do this from day one.
Like, this is like, and the thing is that, like, one thing that I really admire about the commentary team, about, like, from Chris and of course Rocky Romero and Kevin Kelly is the fact that they were talking about a little bit of history about Taichi, how Taichi, whose mentor is Toshiaki Kawada, who is famous from his glory days in All Japan Pro Wrestling, how Toshiaki Kawada has always apparently been disappointed in Taichi as a student. So much so that Taichi has kind of labeled himself as a black sheep. He's like, okay, well, I guess I'm his fucking disappointment, and you don't have any respect for me, and that's why he's constantly calling out his former teacher, like, come out of retirement so I can beat your ass. If Kawada was not proud of Taichi before, you should be proud of that match. Yeah, that performance was amazing.
That was a stellar match.
That was damn. Yeah. Like, Taichi, if you continue wrestling like that, dude, you'll be IWGP Heavyweight Champion in a year. Yeah. Whether he does that, I don't know. Yeah. Whether the front office thinks he's whether he can, whether they feel like he has that redeemable quality as a main event guy, that's up to them. Yeah. But if he continues to wrestle that way, he'll be in next year's G1, which will be this second G1 that he's ever performed in, and also maybe be in line for other championships down the road, because he can clearly fucking go.
Yeah, I'm gonna remember this match, because this is one when I tell people that Taichi is one of my favorites and they tell me I'm crazy, with this match is gonna prove my point.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think I remember at first, like a couple years ago when I started watching again, when Suzuki-gun finally were no longer barred from New Japan, because they were barred and exiled to Pro Wrestling Noah. When they came back from Pro Wrestling Noah, and when Taichi was back in New Japan, I did not like Taichi. I thought it was like, this guy fucking sucks. Now, dude, he's low key like turning into one of my favorite wrestlers on the roster right now. But yeah, like, where the fuck was this guy the whole time? God damn it, Taichi.
I want to see this guy again.
Stop fucking cheating. Stop relying on Yoshinobu Kanemaru, with a Suntory Surprise tequila spit. Wrestle like you just did.
Do it again.
Keep doing it. Keep fucking doing it.
If not, I'm gonna get mad.
Exactly. But yeah, I was just blown away. And then it goes without saying that Tomohiro Ishii, in my opinion, has to be one of the MVPs of the tournament. Period. The guy has delivered consistently. And in my opinion, it needs to happen sooner or later. He needs to be IWGP Heavyweight Champion. Like, it's for me, it's hard for me to hate a lot of the roster in New Japan, because everybody is such a solid and good worker. But the fact of the matter is, Tomohiro Ishii is a notch above. Like, okay, if New Japan, if you look at the roster, everybody is a solid wrestler. Even your least favorites at least are solid workers. But Ishii knows how to fucking put on a war in that ring. And I hope one day before his career is over that he was able to capture the IWGP Heavyweight title. I really do, because I think he could do it.
It should be either this year or next year. That's it. Like, if you go beyond that, you can't.
It's it. I think. Yeah. It's like, I just wish that New Japan would capitalize on his momentum a lot better. And I don't know if it's because they think that he doesn't have the same marketability as an Okada or a Jay White or a Kenny Omega
or Ibushi
or Ibushi. Like, you have that good looking marketability. Like, you look good on the magazines and whatever else. But fuck that, dude. Like, he is fucking badass in that ring. Give that man a title shot and push him.
Yep.
Like, I'm all about Ibushi. Like, I hope next year whoever Ibushi faces in Wrestle Kingdom, I hope he wins that title. And I hope he has a lengthy reign. And in that reign, I want to see Ishii take it from him. That's what I want. Because I would love that. Because you got to admit, like, the last time Ishii and Ibushi had that match in last year's G1, that was brutal as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Tomohiro Ishii, in my opinion, has to be the MVP. However, most improved of the tournament, Lance Archer.
Yeah,
Hands
concur
down.
on that. Yeah, that was a best. Like recently, he also changed his gimmick a little bit too. He had
He calls it the Murder Hawk.
Yeah,
You know, the mohawk, the
and
long
he had
kabuki
a
hawk.
red contact, but not only just his appearance, but everything. His
Finisher.
his finisher. Everybody dies.
The EBD claw.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know, which is like I said, it's kind of a nice little tribute because he's also from Texas, so it's a nice little tribute to the Von Erichs. You know, the Von Erich Iron Claw. So he renamed it the EBD Claw, and then on top of that, like he's incorporating high flying into some of his arsenal, which is fucking crazy. Like he did that backflip moonsault. You know.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I was like, what? That was crazy.
Like, are you fucking crazy?
Yeah.
Like, what is he, like 6'8"? Like a man that size,
Shouldn't
flat
be able to
out,
do that.
should not be doing stuff like that. Like, you like, don't do that. And in my opinion, he doesn't even need to do that to be impressive. But the fact that he can and does is impressive. It's like when I see Brody King pull out lucha style spots where he's like riding the ropes and does the backflip up the ropes with the arm drag. Like that's a lucha spot. A man his size doing a lucha like that, it's like, whoa, holy shit.
If you just compare him to all the big guys from other promotions, I think he's one of the best ones.
Yeah, I would say like between him and Brody King are two of the most athletic big men.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Fale is big, but that's just what he is. He's big and he's powerful, but I wouldn't say that he's athletic like a Brody King or Lance Archer, especially not Lance Archer. But most improved all around, man. I mean, I think even though his record wasn't very impressive, like I believe he left the tournament with 6 points, I believe. He was on the bottom end of the tournament. You have to say that he had to have impressed that crowd.
Yeah.
That crowd definitely.
Yeah. Because even if he wouldn't have obtained any points, he still did great in all his matches.
Yeah, exactly.
It was amazing.
I think that needs to speak to the New Japan offices that you got to start booking him for titles. Like, give him the never open weight title, put him in contention for the Intercontinental title or the U.S. title for that matter. Like, I don't know. Could you imagine Lance Archer versus Moxley for the U.S. title? That would be a fucking war. That would get nasty. And that's another thing too. I want to point out Moxley in this tournament, I think I think this tournament was kind of like his proving ground.
Yeah.
That can I perform outside of the confines of the WWE? Like, can I do it? Can I actually pull it off? I mean, he also was able to score 10 points in this tournament.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I think a lot of people who saw him leave WWE early this year, and then of course he had his run in at AEW's Double or Nothing. There's a lot of hype around Jon Moxley, and then the fact that he's had a couple of matches on the independents, and then of course him being introduced into the G1 brought in a lot of attention for New Japan, especially a lot of WWE fans that are like, oh, well, what's this about? And I've always been a fan of Jon Moxley. I was a fan of his when he was a deathmatch wrestler in Combat Zone. I was a fan of his as Dean Ambrose in WWE. I always felt that they cut the legs under him a little bit creatively. Like it could have done so much more with him, and they just didn't.
Yeah.
For whatever reasons.
He could have been Stone Cold.
There was a point in time where Jon Moxley, Dean Ambrose, was the most on fire person in the company outside of Roman Reigns, and they didn't capitalize on it.
Yeah.
It just didn't work. Granted, he held the WWE World Championship. Had some awesome matches, especially with AJ Styles, which I love those matches that he had 2 years ago with AJ Styles. But I just felt like they just kind of put the glass ceiling on him a little bit, and he was never able to break through. So the fact that he was able to leave, I feel like this was kind of a proving ground. And not only did he kick ass, but I didn't realize how much of a versatile performer he is.
Yeah, he could do everything. Comedy. I think we talked about this last week, but yeah, he could do comedy. He could do hardcore matches. He can do anything.
Absolutely.
This guy.
Exactly. And then another thing that I thought was really interesting is how they pushed Kenta hard in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then after losing to Okada, he kind of went on a downward slope and was stuck at 8 points. And for A-Block, he was pretty much on like what? Like a 4-way tie with Will Ospreay, Evil, Hiroshi Tanahashi, only because those guys were able to catch up where Kenta was already ahead and then kept losing.
Yeah.
Where Kota Ibushi and Okada were stuck at 14. But
the points are crazy too, because remember from the beginning of the tournament, A block was so far off. Like the first place compared to last place, there was too much of a difference compared to B block, and it's crazy that everyone caught up. Ended up the same.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you break it down, with Kota Ibushi being the overall winner, right? He ended the tournament with 14 points, with Okada as well as 14 points, and then the second place slot is a tie between Sonata, Kenta, Tanahashi, Evil, and Will Ospreay.
And Fale
and Zack Sabre, excuse me. Yeah, look at that. Like, because everybody was able to catch up at the very end, but it was too late because everybody had already been eliminated at that point. Of course, Lance Archer being at 6, but then you go to B block, where B block was kind of dominated by Jon Moxley for at least half the tournament, where nobody was close to Jon Moxley. And then Goto eventually finished close to Jay White, losing. So Jay White ended up getting 12 points, surpassing Jon Moxley. So Jay White got 12, Goto got 10, Moxley 10, Naito at 10, Yano at 8, which is like, whoa, what the fuck? And then Ishii at 8, Taichi at 8, Juice Robinson at 8, Jeff Cobb at 8, Shingo Takagi at 8. All those people at 8 were able to catch up at the very last minute, but at the beginning, Moxley was considered the favorite for B block. And then, a lot of people felt that, oh, wow, Jay White's going to definitely be eliminated early.
Yeah.
But a lot of people were also gunning for Naito to be in. And then Goto, I think, was kind of like that person in the G1 that's like, okay, because he looked amazing. You can definitely tell he lost some weight. He trimmed down, and he ended up performing pretty well. He ended up making it to 10 points.
From the help from Shibata.
Unfortunately, Goto didn't, that didn't translate to him taking the block, but Goto had a very impressive showing. Yeah. Way better than last year and even better than the year before. I always feel like Goto is the guy that just needs that one little thing left to happen to be pushed to that next level. Whether they do it, I don't know, but I hope they do. Yeah. I hope at some point. Goto is another guy that I feel like deserves a push.
Like Ishii. But with Goto, you could do that. You still have a few more years you could do that with him.
Exactly, because Goto is not old.
Yeah.
He's not old. Exactly. I mean, he's been around for, I think, a decade only, so he's still got some time on him. And
who's sorry to interrupt you, but I was going to ask you, I was just looking at the points now. Who was your biggest letdown here? Because for me, I think for me was Shingo, because he did so great in the
Best of Super Juniors.
Best of Super Juniors, yeah. In this cup, he was in this tournament, I should say. He was in.
Like he had amazing matches. It just didn't translate to points. He would lose. I would say honestly that he's not my biggest disappointment. His performance was amazing.
Yeah.
My biggest disappointment, honestly, was the fact that Ospreay. I expected better from Ospreay. No, his matches are all amazing, but I just thought that he would score higher.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that disappointed the shit out of me was just the fact that I felt Jeff Cobb would have been more dominant.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why they didn't push him harder.
Yeah, because he kept eating so much. Hey, did you see Naito when he you know how last week I said that Jeff Cobb maybe was eating too much or partying too much?
Yeah.
And then Naito like completely fat shamed him, and he was calling him sumo.
Calling a sumo. Yeah, he was doing like sumo. Like, yeah, what a jerk.
And then Cobb was like, you know what? Just be quiet because it's gonna mess you up. That was a good match, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. It was an awesome match that he had. I just wish Cobb would have fucking performed better.
Yeah.
But I will say that despite that, I feel like he got over with the Japanese crowds more.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the crowds took a bigger liking to him, and then...
I know, speaking of Japanese crowds, I know everyone's probably sad because Tanahashi didn't do that much either.
Yeah, Tanahashi did just underperform this year. He was the defending G1 champion this year.
Yeah.
Didn't perform that well. And then, of course, I think one of the other breakouts of this tournament was Sonata. Mm-hmm. Sonata, if he was getting over before this tournament, he got even bigger.
Yeah.
And I think if Sonata, like I said, I've said this before, if Sonata can keep his health together, because I know he's been having a lot of problems with his neck, and you can see it in his matches. He's constantly flexing his hand, because apparently he's having some sensitivity and feeling issues, which is a nerve problem. If he's able to mitigate that problem, or at least, I don't know, get some rest, find a way to recover, get that fixed. Mm-hmm. I feel like Sonata is one of the guys that's next in line to be IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah.
I feel like 3 people that proved themselves in this tournament, like, okay, like everybody proved themselves in this tournament for different reasons. But in terms of guys that I feel like need to be IWGP Heavyweight Champion like tomorrow, it would have to be Sonata, it would have to be Kota Ibushi, and Tomohiro Ishii are the 3 guys that I feel like are ready for that next level. And the only reason why I don't say something like Jay White, or I don't say something like Jon Moxley or anything, or Will Ospreay, is I don't say it for Will Ospreay because I feel like Will Ospreay is still so early in his career.
Yeah.
And is just now a brand new heavyweight. He still has a little bit more proving grounds.
Yeah, you can build him more.
You can build him a little bit more.
Yeah.
Jay White has already been champion. I feel like he will definitely have another championship reign in his future.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt in my mind. I will definitely, with Jon Moxley, we don't know how it's going to pan out with his schedule between AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling. I just know that in his contract, he has it open to wrestle Japan if he wants, which I hope he does. I hope he really does. But I know with AEW, they're going to want to use his star power to build the shows.
Yeah.
But the reason why I say Sonata, Ishii, and Kota Ibushi is that all 3 of those men have never held the IWGP Heavyweight title, and I feel like they very well fucking could.
Yeah, before they get hurt or something.
Before they get hurt
or retire
or before, it's just too late.
Yeah.
But like this tournament overall was spectacular. Even though, like I said, I was also disappointed with Will Ospreay's points. You can't deny the fact that Will Ospreay, he knows how to put on a good match.
Yeah.
Like he makes everybody look good, and with that being said, like I'm excited. It's going to be hard as fuck to top next year.
Yeah.
It's going to be very hard.
I can't even think about it, how it's going to pan out by next year. I mean, and then talking about the next year coming up, would you want Okada go all the way to Wrestle Kingdom or would you want somebody else for this
upcoming Wrestle Kingdom?
Yeah, for the
personally,
for the championship.
From a business standpoint, you're probably going to want Okada to headline one of the nights.
Yeah.
As IWGP champion, probably.
Yeah.
I love Okada. I think it only makes sense to keep him
on there for a while,
personally.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Because I feel like if you keep Okada as IWGP Heavyweight Champion and then you have him headline against Kota Ibushi, for Kota Ibushi to beat Okada, it means that much more. It means that a baton has been passed. And not that Okada is past his prime or Okada's old. No, Okada's still very fucking young. I think he's only, 29? So I'm just saying that when I say the baton has been passed, it's like, okay, as of right now, the 3 biggest stars in New Japan Pro Wrestling is obviously Kazuchika Okada, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Tetsuya Naito.
Yeah.
Those are like the 3, like when you talk about like the guys who, when you associate New Japan Pro Wrestling, who are the names that represent that company? Those are the 3 names.
Guys, yeah.
And I feel like if Ibushi and Okada headlines one of the days at Wrestle Kingdom next year, that in itself will show you that Kota Ibushi is going to be one of the next guys to represent the company. And I feel like Sonata could very well be that guy too. So
he has a look.
And I think the reason why is because lately, like Okada has pretty much been like one of the biggest names. Like I said, we have those 3 big names, but Okada has been like the biggest name in the past couple of years. Like he's represented the company as like their figurehead. And I feel like you have a champion like that go against Kota Ibushi, and Kota Ibushi to get put over Okada, especially at the height of his popularity, and especially with New Japan doing 2 nights next year. I think it'll be that much more historic, and that's why I think Okada should stay champion until then. But then, on the flip side, there's a part of me that wants to see Naito actually pull off becoming IWGP Intercontinental and Heavyweight Champion, because that'll be the biggest middle finger to a lot of people that doubted him for years.
Yeah. And
like I said, Naito now is still one of the. It's like I said, he's one of the biggest names in the company next to Okada and Tanahashi. But I would dare I say, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that I'm sure Tetsuya Naito never forgot what happened to him years ago when the crowds turned on him and when the New Japan offices didn't feel as if he could draw and felt that he was a boring, uncharismatic wrestler, and they sent him out on a second excursion to Mexico because crowds just did not give a flying fuck about him, and he lost his main event. I'm pretty sure, even though like Naito has kind of reconciled that, I mean he's killing it, I'm pretty sure he still thinks I feel like Naito still wrestles with the chip on his shoulder. Like he always has something to prove,
which makes his gimmick work.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes it feel real.
Exactly,
because it probably is. He probably doesn't like anyone.
He probably doesn't give a, and then he doesn't come across like I don't give a fuck and I hate everybody, like I don't know, Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah.
It's more so like, I don't give a fuck so much that I'm not going to react to anybody.
Yeah.
I'm going to just be cool. I'm doing me.
Yeah.
And I feel like that works with Naito. And
He's just worried about number one.
he's worried about me, and I'm worried about everybody in my
Yeah.
you know, in LIJ, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah.
And I still want to see Naito headline, you know, the Tokyo Dome and win. So I don't know, like there's so many possibilities that could happen between now and then, but I feel like Ibushi and Okada is the most logical thing to do
Yeah.
for at least one of the nights.
Yeah, it makes sense. And then I was just questioning it because we just saw Ibushi beat Okada. That's why I was like questioning it.
Yeah, because I mean, both Sonata and Okada beat Ibushi, which means that definitely means that they're both in line for title shots. Granted, Ibushi will get his at Wrestle Kingdom more than likely. He'll wait till then. But then, of course, you have Royal Quest coming, New Japan coming to England.
Yeah.
With Royal Quest, and on the last night of the G1, Minoru Suzuki said, like, I'm not going to be ignored. I want a title shot. I want your belt. That belongs to me. And now they're going to have a match, you know, in England, and I'm just like, I'm never one to hate on Minoru Suzuki. Minoru Suzuki's a badass, but I kind of feel like, well, shit. What about Sonata?
Yeah.
What about Sonata? What about his shot? What about Kota Ibushi's? You know, like, why does Minoru Suzuki deserve a shot suddenly? Unless that was just kind of him, just kind of laying out a challenge out there, saying like, I could probably take it from you now. And wouldn't that be an upset if in England he takes that belt? It'll totally change the dynamics.
I mean, it would be a good match for when he faces Liger if he ever does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could very well could, you know. And like I said, I still believe that Minoru Suzuki will face Liger at Wrestle Kingdom next year.
Yeah.
I feel like that is the last thing that's going to happen in Liger's career.
Yeah. Well, if you put the belt on Suzuki,
Who knows? Like I said, there's so many possibilities. And after this G1,
yeah,
I feel like the New Japan is starting to book in a way that they're trying to make things a little unpredictable.
which I like.
Which a lot of things weren't. A lot of things we thought were going to pan out logically didn't quite happen that way. Like I would have never have thought in a million years. You know, at the end of the G1, we should also point out that Kenta went full heel and joins the Bullet Club, pretty much disrespecting everybody that welcomed him in New Japan. So much so that Katsuyori Shibata comes out, much to the surprise of the crowd, and starts attacking Kenta. Almost like he just, in the entire time he's attacking him, he shakes his head like, you motherfucker. Like you're just disrespecting us. You're just disrespecting me after I trained you. So I'm really excited because now you have a heel Kenta, and I think it works.
And Bullet Club needed it. It was already going down.
It was kind of down. And the fact that you have a guy like Kenta who already has a legendary status in Japan.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like I said, I feel like the crowd was kind of split on him. Like half the crowd were like, hell yeah, it's Kenta. And half the crowd was like, fuck this guy. Yeah. Now you're giving a real reason to say fuck this guy because he just blatantly disrespected, you know, Shibata. And the fact that he uses Shibata's finisher, which is so disrespectful. But then it leaves the question out. It's like, wait a minute. Shibata got in there and got physical. Like, and I don't mean like he just hit one move. Like, no, he was hitting elbow strikes. Did a few things, hit his delayed drop kick. Like, does that mean he's back? Is he cleared? And that's one thing that in New Japan they're really good at. They're really good at keeping that kind of shit close to the chest.
Yeah.
Like, you don't necessarily know how injured somebody is. What's the status? Like they'll tell people on a need to know basis. So I don't know. If Shibata is back, you can't just have that match at King of Pro Wrestling. You can't have that match, you know, on the destruction leg of the tour, you know, and come, you know, in the fall. No. That is a Tokyo Dome match right there. I feel like if they were smart, keep building up that rivalry. And hypothetically, let's say, because like I said, I think everyone's assuming that Shibata is back. The only reason why I say he's not back is because nobody has said anything outright. Nobody said like, oh, he's back or I'm back. Like it's only been teased at because he fought in the ring. But until it's 100% official where Shibata says, yeah, I'm back, I'm coming in and I'm going to fight. If that happens, like let's say tomorrow, Shibata says, yeah, hell yeah, I'm doing this.
Are you going to cry?
Not only, no, I'm not going to cry. I'll be fucking happy as all hell because he was one of my favorite fucking wrestlers in the past 10 years.
Yeah.
If he comes back, like it's official, like no hearsay, no assumptions, just yes, I'm going to do it. They need to build Kenta and him leading up to Wrestle Kingdom next year and build them in such a way that Kenta is constantly playing mind games with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Kenta needs to fuck with Shibata, needs to fuck with him, needs to taunt him. Every once in a while, have them get in a physical altercation. Kenta finds some way to weasel his way out of it, or Kenta finds a way to like take cheap shots.
Yeah.
And then put them in a match at Wrestle Kingdom.
That'd be good.
That'd be fucking amazing, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see. Like I said, things are going to get very interesting.
If that doesn't pan out, I could even see Goto, because you know how Shibata just trained him.
As well.
Makes sense for Goto to get revenge in behalf of Shibata. I would like that too.
That would be awesome. Yeah, exactly. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
And I feel like Shibata, you know, if Shibata can't do it, Goto can definitely do it.
Yeah.
And not to mention, man, that's going to be such a stiff match.
Yeah.
And it'll be nice to see Goto on the main card again, because I know last year he wasn't. The year before he was. Yeah. Where he had that amazing hair match with Minoru Suzuki, which he beat. But I'm excited, man. And like I said, this G1 has been the best G1 in 3 years, in my opinion. The best one in 3 years. Next year, I hope a lot of these guys return, and I hope on top of that, we'll get even some other surprises. I don't know. Some other promotions. Who knows? I don't know exactly. You know who they can borrow from.
Yeah. Because everything's so weird now with everyone that everyone's going everywhere.
Yeah,
except
exactly.
WWE.
WWE just wants to, be the island unto themselves, with, of course, a small little stake in British independent wrestling, and of course their relationship with Evolve in America. But and WXW in Germany. But I know what's really worrisome is that WWE wants to get involved in Japanese wrestling. They want to do NXT Japan. I don't know how that's gonna pan out.
That'll be weird.
That'd be weird. I don't know. I hope it doesn't happen.
Everybody's gonna be mad.
I don't want it to happen. I don't want to see a WWE product on Japanese soil. Like
there's already so many.
There's already so many good options
on a small country.
Exactly. But I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they were able to finally break their way through. There was even rumors that Gato was going to be the booker for NXT in Japan. That he got offered a job, and I think he said no. I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, that's neither here or there at this point. But I'm just really this is going to be a hard G1 to top, and I hope we get some new other guests next year as well as some returns. No Yoshihashi this year. Super happy. Any G1 with no Yoshihashi is a good G1. In fact, just let him fucking go already. Let him fucking go. Just cut him.
They need someone to jump out.
Yeah, I don't know. Get someone else better.
Like Yano. Yano was funny this whole tournament.
Some people are like saying, I'm tired of Yano's bullshit. I'm not. I never get tired of Yano's bullshit. He's fucking hilarious. God. Not to mention, he actually showed hints of him kind of being his former self, of being a brawler again, which was nice to see.
Yeah. Who did he tie up in the mat? The Kernan? The ring Kernan? I think it was Tai Chi and
he tied up Tai Chi and Kanemaru together. Yeah, absolutely. And that was fucking hilarious. Like every year he comes up with different ways to like squeeze out a win. Not to mention he was the first person responsible for Jon Moxley's first loss in New Japan because of a fucking count out.
If he doesn't do anything else, he can say he beat Moxley.
Absolutely. And then on that note, of just to kind of tie things up with this tour, I will say it's nice to see that the LA Young Lions are getting in there. Mm-hmm. Is it my opinion, or do I feel like the American Young Lions, Carl Fredericks and Clark Connors? I'm going to say this right now. Both of those guys are super talented, but man, I feel like Carl Fredericks is a future main eventer. I'm calling it right now. He has a look.
Yeah.
He has a look. He has natural charisma. He's super athletic. Clark Connors is pretty good as well. But I feel like Carl Fredericks already stands out to me.
Yeah, he has a magic. And Clark Connors doesn't. He's missing something. I don't know what it is, man.
Sometimes it just takes time to develop, because like I said in the beginning, Kazuchika Okada was terrible. They apparently said in the beginning he was just not. Like, it just wasn't clicking for him.
Yeah.
And then now look at him. Years later, he's the face of the company.
Yeah.
So you don't know that. But when I look at Carl Fredericks, he has that natural charisma and athletic ability. Not to mention, is it me, or do I feel like the American Young Lions get away with a little bit more in the ring than the Japanese Young Lions? Like, they can do a little bit more. or they're allowed to do a little bit more.
Yeah, they also get more gear compared to the Japanese young lions.
Yeah, exactly. Unless they've already earned that, because I know they have to earn. I don't know exactly.
But it just seemed Carl Frederick and Connors got their gear faster than the New Japan. I guess that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
It seems like they're going faster in development compared to New Japan young lions.
Exactly, and I don't know. Maybe that's just by design, or maybe because I know they train under Shibata, and I don't think Shibata would fucking take it easy on them.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. In fact, remember those documentaries that came out a little bit earlier this year about the LA dojo and how they're training, young lions. It didn't seem he seemed very strict but fair. But he doesn't seem like a slouch either. Like, he looks like he was pushing the fuck out of those guys. And granted, he had a little bit of a good time with them and would hang out with them, but he definitely seemed like he was pushing those guys. And if you're going to learn from anybody, Shibata is definitely the guy to teach you. So I don't know. I just felt like they get a little bit more liberty.
Yeah.
And maybe that's by design. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe because they're being trained by the best. So you're doing better than the New Japan or the Japanese young lions.
I don't know. Who knows? Yeah. I just know that there's a lot of competitiveness between both camps right now.
Yeah,
which is really cool. And I think that was really cool that both Clark Connors and Carl Fredericks backstage started to use Japanese phrases in their promos.
Yeah.
Which is really fucking cool. So I don't know. I'm really interested. Like I said, I'm always big on the young lions. Like I said, Yota Tsuji is another guy that impresses me. But of course, I'm ready for Shota Umino to go on that excursion, man. And I think at this point, there's a couple of young lions that are out on an excursion right now still that should be coming back within the next couple of months to a year.
Who is that? Kawato-san?
Kawato, I think is I know he's doing great in Mexico right now.
Yeah.
But I think it's coming time for him to come back.
Yeah.
So
what's going to happen with that, man?
Exactly. Like I said, if you're not watching New Japan, you're missing out.
Yeah.
Point blank. Period.
If Umino goes to Mexico, I'll go watch him in Mexico.
Absolutely. I have a feeling he'll go to Ring of Honor.
Yeah. Hopefully not.
Or who knows? Maybe New Japan strikes some fucking surprise deal with AEW, and then he's always with John Moxley.
Yeah.
Which I love that dynamic.
Yeah,
I just want to say that. And that dynamic, it's funny and it works. And I feel like now Umino wrestles even more aggressively. Mm-hmm. Like it's kind of rubbing off on him that he's kind of becoming more scrappy.
Yeah. That shooter name is going to his head, which is a good thing.
It's a good thing. Yeah. Let him get mean.
Yep.
But man, that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for the G129. And now let's talk about the next exciting tournament. And this one I'm really excited about.
Oh, yeah.
The Super J Cup in America.
Super Juicy J Cup?
Super Juicy J Cup. You're on fire today, aren't you? Super Juicy J Cup. we need to make t-shirts of that, dude. Instead of like Super J Cup, Super Juicy.
Yeah.
J Cup. And then you just popping out of the background a little bit like
with thumbs up or something?
Thumbs up, or two, like you like double pounding 2 beers or something. Super Juicy J Cup. I think we found our new t-shirt design, ladies and gentlemen. But man, the Super J Cup.
Yeah.
Gonna be mega exciting. They have officially announced every competitor in the Super J Cup. So this year, they've already announced that the Super J Cup will be in America, with the finals being in Los Angeles. This time being a traditional tournament. Because in one bracket, in the opening night, you have Seattle. And in Seattle, you have Ryusuke Taguchi against Jonathan Gresham. Roppongi 3K's Yo against Dragon Lee. Caristico against Bushi, 2 very awesome masked wrestlers. And then Rocky Romero against Soberano Jr.
Soberano's good, man.
Exactly. He's awesome.
Yeah.
And then, of course, in the other bracket, you have Will Ospreay opening up against Amazing Red. Talk about dream match from the jump. Wow.
That's good.
Amazing. And then, of course, you have Sho, who had an amazing tournament this past Best of Super Juniors against Taiji Ishimori. Young Lion Clark Connors against TJP. And I'm really interested that they put Connors in here, but all right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And then Robbie Eagles against El Phantasmo.
That's
basically continuing their beef ever since Robbie Eagles decided to quit Bullet Club and join Chaos.
Yeah.
So this is going to basically be a continuation of that ever since what happened in Australia. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited. Like I said, all the opening matches are exciting.
Yeah.
And then, of course, after that, you have, of course, the quarterfinals in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And then you have the semis and the finals in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Which is exciting.
Yeah.
2 out of the 3 shows are already sold out. And of course, the finals being in LA, which I'm really, really excited about.
It's going to be good, man.
It's going to be good.
I'm eager to see how Caristico's gonna perform, and Gresham, and who else? And then Connors. I don't know. It's weird they threw him in there.
Well, it's like they did, a while back. Remember how they remember in the Best of Super Juniors they threw in a young lion as a last minute replacement.
Yeah.
Maybe Connors was just to kind of to test him.
Like, here you go.
That is one thing I will say about New Japan is that they do test their young lions. Like, okay, you're probably not going to advance very far, but you need to know what this is like.
Yeah.
So here, go compete, which I admire that a lot. So that's pretty damn cool that Clark Connors is going to have that opportunity. Yeah. But overall, this tournament I'm super excited about. I would have liked to have seen maybe one or two more random people outside of Ring of Honor, CMLL, and New Japan. But I understand. They make the decisions for a reason.
Yeah.
Still awesome. You see Amazing Red and TJP and Soberano Jr. and then Caristico, which are all big surprises to me.
So they're gonna put Doki again.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen Doki in here again.
Yeah.
I hope to see more of Doki. Like I said, Doki needs to come back. All about Doki, man. But I mean, like I said, 822 in Seattle, 824 San Francisco, 825 in Los Angeles.
It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be good. I'm fucking stoked.
Super Juicy Jacob.
Super Juicy Jacob. Oh man. But I'm excited. New Japan is on fire, man.
I love New Japan.
Me too. But on that note, man, you got anything else, dude?
You know what? I do got something for you.
Yes,
and
finally.
You're going to be amazed by this story. Well, not amazed. I just found it interesting and funny. So I was going back to El Paso, right? This past week. And so I had to get two flights. One to Houston, and then Houston I had to get another plane to El Paso. But on the plane to Houston, it was like 5 a.m. So I was at the airport like at 4 a.m. So everybody's all tired. So I'm just looking at my phone just so I won't be bored. And then I look up, and you know who I saw? Michael Cole.
Michael Cole, you mean from WWE?
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
And I heard stories that guy's mean, like don't talk to him if you see him in person. So, it was 4 a.m, so I didn't want to bother him because it's really early and more than likely he's not going to want to talk to me. So I was like, okay, cool. So I said, well, maybe when we get off the plane, if I casually see him like next to me or something, maybe I'll say something.
Yeah.
So we're going to our other flight, and then we're going up in the escalator. He's in front of me. He goes up first, and then I say, "Excuse me, Michael Cole." And then all he does is he looks over his shoulder, gives me a weird, nasty look, and says, "Yeah." And I'm like, you know what? Sorry to bother you. And I didn't say anything. So all I got to say is that guy is a jerk.
Fuck Michael Cole.
Yep.
Well, okay, had you not felt that way, what do you think you would have said to him?
If he wouldn't give me a nasty look and sounded annoyed?
Yeah.
Because the only thing I wanted to do was maybe ask him if I could, maybe shake his hand or something. He probably thought I was one of those
marks.
Hardcore fan marks that would ask for photos or signature or something. Maybe that's why he kind of felt like it was bothering him. Yeah.
Fair enough.
So
I still hear he's a fucking asshole though.
But he's a jerk, man. He didn't even acknowledge me or anything. He was just like, he didn't even look at me really. He just kind of looked over his shoulder and said, "Yeah, that's really rude." I don't know.
And that's all
I just thought it was rude.
Yeah, no, that is rude. It's like, oh, hey, yeah, it's me.
Because I know it's 5 a.m. I know everybody doesn't want to even talk to anybody at that time. So I get that. But I'm still, like, wouldn't you still look at somebody just to be, polite? At least look at him or something. I don't know.
No, yeah, dick. Fuck you, Michael Cole. Your commentary sucks. I didn't even like his commentary when he was in the Attitude Era, dude. Fuck him.
Yeah, that guy sucks.
Fuck you, Michael Cole. Eat a dick.
I don't like that guy.
No.
Hate him.
New Japan's better.
But anyway, that's my story.
Yeah. Well, we can't end on a sour note. That sucks.
All right, let's end it in, let's see. What else?
I don't know. Orange Cassidy signed to AEW.
Oh, yeah.
Let's end it on that because I love Orange Cassidy. However, I'm still wondering if AEW is going to sign any other bigger names, Mm-hmm. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Yeah. But, I mean, Orange Cassidy is funny as shit.
Yeah, I love that idea. I know Meltzer hated it.
Why did he hate it?
Because he said that that's not a good choice of a wrestler for your casual fans that you're going to attempt to get when you start televising shows.
Yeah.
Why would you have that type of person be at the forefront of everything? You should get somebody else.
Fair.
Which makes sense. I don't know. I think he's awesome. So suck it, Meltzer. No.
Sucking Meltzer. Yeah. I don't know, man. Negative 2.5 stars. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, until next week, this is Tiger Driver Radio. Peace. Enjoy pro wrestling.